It's quite busy. You see, you if you watch the news, you'll see like the cameras swooping around, and you'll see a lot of action. And you'll see lots of people sort of quite often running around, trying to get the stories on time. Breaking news will come out. People will run into the gallery. There'll be a bit of screaming and shouting, and you're trying to do your job, but other people are sort of desperate to do their bit as well. So it can get quite hectic. If there's no breaking news, it is a fairly well-oiled machine. But yeah, no. At times it can get quite hectic, quite busy, and people are they just want to get the right news across. They want to be the first to break it. They don't want to see other channels, get the news out first. I think.
Yeah, my favourite thing is when sometimes if you look around and it all looks really calm. I've brought like friends to look around before, and they're like, well, what's everyone doing? And it's very calm, and then suddenly a story breaks, and that's when everything just jumps into action. Like once I was on, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was an earthquake, I think, in like Aquila in Italy, and because it was 4 o'clock in the morning, there was hardly anyone on. It was like skeleton staff, and there was one random journalist who could speak Italian, so she was vaguely familiar with the area, so she had to quickly like get a suit on, get on set, talk about what she knew and stuff while they were getting the story together. So it's really nice to just know that even if it looks calm sometimes, everyone knows what to do if something breaks. So it's quite an exciting place to work.
Yeah, no, it is an enjoyable job, but it does sometimes, as we were saying, get quite heightened in here, and only because people want to provide the best coverage they can. So, there's people shouting across, and you're trying to listen to the right people, because obviously we're audio operators. We probably should have said that. We have to listen to the presenter first and foremost, but also we're trying to take directions from the director. And
then there's the producer sometimes who's telling you different things, and then there's someone telling the producer something, and then often there's a tour group behind you looking over your shoulder, looking at what you're doing, and they're peering in, and you're trying to listen to everything.
Taking pictures.
So it's, yeah, taking pictures as well. I've definitely had a couple of flashes go off before. Like, what? But no, it's a really interesting place to work. I don't think I've ever woken up, which is quite rare in the job, I think, and thought, oh, I'm dreading going to work today, just because it is different every day, and the benefits far outweigh the pressures, and the pressures are what make it interesting at times.
Yeah.
So
I think if we were in here, and obviously you get similar topics every day, but if we were in here doing the same stories over and over and over, then it might get quite dull. But the fact that news is ever changing, and the stories, even if there's subtle differences, there are differences every day. That's what keeps it more interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. On a slightly different note, it's become apparent when we've been doing these BBC reports that most children don't watch the news, and many don't have an awareness of what's going on around them. Adults are getting worried because 16-year-olds will now be able to vote at the election. What's your opinion on this?
I mean, even if younger people don't sit down and watch the news channel 24/7 or watch the 6 o'clock news every day, they're on Twitter 24/7. I know I am, and I get so much of my news from Twitter before we even break it here sometimes, and I get other people's opinions and secondary sources and things, and I think people absorb more than they realise through social media as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I know that, I mean, I can't so much speak for the public, but I know that working in the newsroom, I never see another ISIS beheading and think, oh, here we go, yeah, whatever. Like, it affects me so much. I mean, I have to watch, I remember when Joseph Fritzl, that case broke, and he had his daughter and his grandchildren in the basement, and I had to watch the map of the basement and the pictures and it just daily, like every 20 minutes, and it drills into your head. And I personally often feel quite affected by the pictures I see. So
I think there are certain stories that do still horrify you, and not just working in the newsroom, but everywhere. But I do think so much of the news is bad. There are so many wars. I think it probably, even if it doesn't completely desensitise you, there probably is an element of that. And at the end of our half-hour news programmes, assuming there's not breaking news or something, we always try to do one sort of bit of good news,
like
and light-hearted. It's all animals, but just it's something nice, and you do sort of almost like want that bit to come, because it isn't nice always seeing, and I think people do sort of think, oh, I won't watch the news today because it's all bad.
I've had friends say that to me before, that when I mention a horrible news story that's happened, and they're like, oh, I don't watch the news, it's too depressing, and
I don't think you don't care about it anymore, but at the same time, not everybody's going to want to switch on for half an hour of
sad
war
news
and depression
and wars and things.
So in a way, I think it